Close your eyes for a moment. Let your body settle into whatever is holding you. Feel the weight of your arms, your legs, your shoulders. Let them go a little heavier. There's nothing you need to follow tonight. There's no plot, no tension, nothing to solve. This is a walk through a garden in Kyoto. It goes nowhere in particular. You can drift off at any moment. You won't miss anything. The lanterns will keep glowing whether you're listening or not. Breathe in through your nose, slowly. Hold it for just a beat. And let it out. There's no rush here. There's never been any rush here. The monks who built this garden worked for decades. The garden has been growing for centuries. It will keep growing long after tonight. You're just a visitor moving through at your own pace. Let your breath find its own rhythm now. In and out, long and slow. Each breath a little calmer than the last. If your thoughts come, let them. Don't fight them. Just notice them and let them drift, the way a leaf drifts on still water. You don't need to be anywhere else. You don't need to do anything else. Tonight, there's only this garden and this dark and this quiet. Steady your breathing now, in through your nose, out through your mouth, slow and even, like the sound of water through a bamboo spout. We can begin. The gate is made of hinoki cypress, and it's very old. The wood has gone dark over the centuries, almost the color of charcoal. The grain runs in long, smooth lines. If you press your palm flat against it, you can feel the cold that's settled into the surface. It smells like rain and resin and time. Hinoki cypress has a particular scent, clean and faintly medicinal, a little like cedar but softer. The Japanese have used it in temple construction for over 1200 years. It's the reason old buildings here smell the way they do. You push the gate open slowly. It moves without resistance. The hinges are iron, oiled recently, and the gate swings wide without a sound. You step through. The path beyond is stone, flat slabs laid close together. Frost has formed in the gaps overnight, thin and white, like someone traced each stone's edge with chalk. The lanterns on either side are carved granite, worn smooth at the top. Each one holds a small flame, still and steady in the cold air. Ginkgo leaves cover the path. They're yellow, almost gold, all fallen within the last few days. Ginkgo trees are remarkable in this way. They hold their leaves until the temperature drops past a certain point. Then they drop them all at once, sometimes over a single week. The tree itself is ancient beyond almost anything else alive. In fact, ginkgo trees predate dinosaurs. They were already old when the first forests appeared on Earth, over 270 million years ago. You're walking across leaves that fell from a tree older than history by a very wide margin. The flame in the nearest lantern doesn't move. The night is perfectly still. The path curves left and the moss begins. It starts at the edge of the stones, just a thin green border. Then it spreads, covering everything that isn't path. It covers the ground between the trees, the bases of the stone lanterns, the roots of the pines. It covers the low walls along the garden's edge, everything in a single continuous surface, dark green shading toward black in the shadows. This moss garden took over 100 years to establish. The monks tend it the way a gardener tends a flower bed, but slower and more carefully. They remove fallen pine needles with bamboo tweezers, one needle at a time. Pine needles pierce the moss and let moisture escape. The moss itself isn't one species but 40 or more, growing side by side in patches. Each variety finds the soil and light and moisture it prefers. Basically, the garden is a kind of map of microhabitats, written in green. There are over 40 species of moss in this garden. Walk closer to the edge of the path and crouch slightly. Look at the surface. In the lantern light, you can see individual fronds, tiny and precise. Each one holds a bead of water the way glass holds water. The beads are perfect spheres, trembling slightly but not falling. Your footsteps make almost no sound on the stone path. The moss on either side is completely silent. No rustling, no settling. It absorbs sound the way it absorbs water, taking everything in without giving anything back. The air here is colder and wetter. The moss releases moisture into the air, enough to feel on your face. Stand still now. Let the cool settle on your cheeks and your eyelids. The trees above are pines, old and widely spaced. Through the canopy, the first stars are beginning to show, very faint, very far. There's a stone basin at the end of a short path set into the garden where two hedges meet. It's carved from a single block of granite, low to the ground, meant to be approached from a crouch. This is called a sukubai. The word means to crouch down, to make yourself small. A length of bamboo rests across the basin at an angle. Water runs through the bamboo in a thin, steady thread, falling into the basin with a sound like someone whispering. Not many words, just a single tone rising and falling with the water. The basin is carved with 4 characters, one on each side. The characters are incomplete on their own, each one missing a stroke. But the center of the basin is a square drain. That drain is the missing stroke for all 4. Together, the 4 incomplete characters form a phrase, I learn only to be contented. Every character needs the drain to be finished. The drain, the absence, the empty center is what makes the meaning possible. This basin is at Ryoan-ji Temple. It's been read and reread by visitors for centuries. People still disagree about the best translation. You crouch beside it, the granite is cold under your fingers. The water falls in its thin thread, patient and exact. It falls at the same rate it always has, unchanged by the hour or the season, unchanged by how many people have stood here to listen. Let the sound come in, just the water. Just the thin, steady thread of it, falling into still granite, over and over, the same sound repeated until it becomes no sound at all. Breathe out, stay low. The night air smells of wet stone and cold moss. Beyond the basin, the path enters the bamboo grove. The stalks are moso bamboo. They rise 15 meters, straight as columns, disappearing into the dark above. They're thicker than your arm. The surface of each stalk is smooth and slightly waxy. The color is pale jade in the lantern light, marked at intervals by thin rings where new growth once opened. Moso bamboo grows faster than almost anything else on Earth. In spring, during the peak of its growth, a single stalk can rise 91 centimeters in a single day. If you sat beside it long enough, you could watch it happen, though you'd need to be more patient than most people are willing to be on a weekday. The grove is quiet now. It's not spring, and the bamboo isn't growing tonight. It's only standing tall and very still. Except for the faintest movement at the very top, where a breeze moves through the canopy. This produces a sound. It's unlike any other sound in the garden. The stalks creak against each other, a soft and rhythmic creaking, low and hollow. A little like the sound of an old wooden ship, or like wind chimes made from something much heavier than metal. The sound comes from high above, from where the canopy begins. It drifts down through the grove in slow, irregular intervals. Your footsteps on the path here have a different sound. The ground beneath the bamboo is packed earth and root, and each step is soft and dense. The light is different here too. The canopy filters what little light remains, breaking it into scattered patches across the path. The path winds gently between the stalks, and you follow it. The creaking above you is slow and irregular and very far away. Breathe in. The air tastes of earth and cold and green. The bamboo gives way, and the path opens to the pond. It's wide and very still. The surface is dark, almost black, and it holds the sky perfectly, reflecting every star now visible above you. You're looking at the sky in 2 directions at once, up into the cold above and down into the still water below. The reflections are exact, koi move beneath the surface. They're slow and deep, barely visible, darker shapes in dark water, drifting without apparent purpose or direction. They're old fish. The oldest verified koi on record, a fish named Hanako, lived 226 years. Her age was confirmed by examining the growth rings on her scales, the same method used to date trees. She outlived multiple generations of the monks who fed her. These fish may not be that old, but they could be. A flat stone bridge crosses the far end of the pond. It's made of single granite slabs, placed without mortar, resting on the water's edge by weight alone. You step onto it and stop. From here, the garden is visible in all directions. The bamboo behind you, the moss to the right, the stone path curving back toward the gate. Everything is still. The koi are still. The water is still. The sky is still. The reflected sky is still. The only movement is a faint breath of air moving across the pond's surface, almost not movement at all. Just a slight trembling, visible only if you look at one reflected star and watch it for a long moment. Let your eyes go soft. Let the stars blur a little. The water is very calm. You're very calm, actually. Stand here for as long as you like. At the far end of the garden, partly sheltered by a stand of old pines, there's a tea house. You remove your shoes at the threshold and step inside. The floor is tatami, woven rush grass, and it has a particular smell. Dry and clean, a little like hay in summer, familiar in a way you can't quite place. The mats are slightly rough under your feet, yielding but firm. The room is small, 4.5 mats. That was the measure Sen no Rikyu used when he founded Wabi-cha in the 16th century. He believed the essence of tea ceremony was only this: boil water, make tea, drink it. Nothing more. He built his tea room small enough that there was no room for anything else. No ornament, no distraction, no performance, just the fire, the water, the tea. Sen no Rikyu was executed in 1591. The order came from the ruler Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Nobody knows exactly why. The records are incomplete or perhaps deliberately absent. He was given the option to take his own life, and he did, with what's recorded as great composure. The kettle was still warm. The kettle in this room is iron, sitting on a low charcoal brazier. The charcoal glows faintly red in the dark. The water is close to boiling. A thin curl of steam rises from the lid, barely visible. Just a slight shiver in the air above the kettle. Sit down, the tatami is firm beneath you. The air in the room is warm, just slightly warmer than outside. It settles around you as you sit. Through the small window, the last light is leaving the sky. Not all at once, but slowly. The deepest blue fading to black, the stars coming fully clear. One by one, and then many at once, and then the whole sky opening up. The steam rises from the kettle, the charcoal glows. The room is very small and very quiet. There's nothing here that you need to do. Let your eyes close. Let the warmth of the room come in. The fire is very low. The night is very still. The kettle hums, barely. A low, steady sound. Almost no sound at all. The charcoal glows. The stars are out. The moss is dark and wet and perfectly still. Somewhere in the pond, a koi turns slowly in the water. The bamboo has stopped creaking. The lanterns are very low. Let everything go. The garden will keep watch. You're very still now, warm and very still. Sleep.